This great story begins at some point, streamer's room, where the girl communicates with the audience. She's playing some kind of Game Souls game and says that she will take all the money from the donors. She's not doing well. As a result, the boss killed her in the game. An inscription appeared on the screen that the game was over, and she was very indignant and almost threw away her joystick. She continues to throw mud at this game, blaming the developers for everything and not her poor gaming skills. Loyal viewers support her in the chat. Then the girl says that her back is too tired and she needs to get up and stretch. But this is all a cunning plan to collect more donations. All the men in the chat really liked it and asked to repeat the warm-up after her, but then a notification came to the computer. It was a donation with a challenge to beat the boss the first time. The girl began to be surprised because she had already died and assumed that the donator was mistaken. One chatter wrote that she should just accept it as a token of gratitude for today's stream, and grinned. She said that she shouldn't do it today. Others gave her a lot of pressure. In her opinion, it was too much to just accept and she needed to somehow thank the donor, so she took the microphone and offered to sing a song. After all this, she ended the stream, loudly said that she was tired and she should spend less time streaming. It was too exhausting and she would soon end up in a nursing home. But she didn't even suspect that at that moment, her webcam continued to work and she was being watched through a hacked camera. This was the main character who watched through the camera, how 2 watermelons were jumping in the refrigerator after a shower. He was not going to blackmail her, but he still wants to keep some of it. It's a beautiful sight, but he's not just here for material for games of one. He needs something valuable to corner her. A couple of special photos from today. Time will not scare anyone. While he was thinking, there was a knock on the apartment door, and the hero became interested in who it was. The girl suddenly began to sweat, was frightened of something, and said that she would now open the door headlong so that the visitor would not wait too long. It was some plump man with glasses, a gray shirt, and a terrible hairstyle. The girl greeted him as Mr. President, and he said that she had done a good job today. These freaks were dissatisfied with her gaming skills, and he didn't understand why they were coming to the stream, and at the same time still asking for large sums of money. The tired girl put her hand on her neck to stretch it. She agrees with him and they really annoy her, but they are not very stingy with money. This whole process and conversation was recorded by a hacked camera. The hacker noticed that he didn't look like her boyfriend at all. White-haired wondered why she called him Mr. President. She calls one of her viewers that, and this is very strange behavior. Some strange magnetic anomaly happened, and the spoons and forks began to attract each other, giving a massage. The president apologized and said that he wouldn't do that suddenly. The hero looked at it all with greedy eyes and realized that this was a goldmine for blackmailing a streamer like her. The hero realized that judging by the expression on her face, this was not her boyfriend or even her husband, and came to the conclusion that everything must be written down. The camera continued to record everything. Apparently some kind of football match was taking place on the bed, and both players' feet were sweating. The guy was very annoyed by this angle because he needed incriminating evidence on her, and then used it. But nothing was visible, and this grandfather could not even correct the camera. The plump donor decided to go in for sports to lose a couple of extra pounds, sat on top of the treadmill, and accelerated so hard that he lost 7 sweats. The beauty was not happy with this situation at all, and she couldn't even find words to describe all the horror that comes from the type of sports. But at that moment, the camera decided to move itself to record all the delights of the sport, and this sent the hacker guy into ecstasy. He finally had material for editing on the YouTube channel. Mr. President shouted dirty words during sports because he tried very hard, and the coach had no reaction to his success. You can see it in his face. Well, as a result, Spider-Man released all the web from the cartridge and released all the cream from the jar, and this angered the girl because everything was poured onto the cake, but it was not allowed to go there. Now the hacker had the perfect shot to record everything. He had a great view of these fast flights on the web. Mr. President said goodbye to the girl and wished her luck on the next stream, and the girl lay upset because she considered this man a real tyrant. She swore at him as soon as he came out. She is a two-faced woman who does not accept gifts with all her heart. The guy knew that it was all just for the sake of money. In any case, he was happy with his own written application. He had a lot of material, enough for his purpose. The main character's name is Chae Sun-woo, is a 25-year-old healthy man who went to college for several years and worked at a convenience store. But 3 months ago, he had an incident. An application was installed on his phone by itself, and he thought that his phone was most likely hacked. A hacking application was installed on his gadget, and he was even given detailed instructions there, which he has already completed. The first is to get dirt on the streamer. At first he thought that someone was messing with him, but this hacking app was real and he could access their phones and hack their cameras. Each streamer had something they wanted to hide, and the guy took advantage of it, got information, and came to the girls to play train racing in the tunnels together. He completed his first task, but immediately after that another one followed. He was surprised that he really got the money, and he didn't even have a single reason to stop. Thanks to this, he often visited different people and played races with them. All this was thanks to the application. It was a gift from heaven for a hacker. And the hero decided to call the one who gave him this application the god of hackers. He had a feeling that this man had a lot of money that he did not know where to spend. And he gets pleasure from watching the actions of the main character, if you think like that. Then the main character is a personal streamer for a millionaire. In any case, he got money and pleasure from games. This is ideal for him, and he decided to blackmail the blue-haired streamer because she races with her donors. She looks better than the big streamer, and he is looking forward to meeting him. The god of hackers always has good taste. The guy reached out and decided to start this task from tomorrow. The case is transferred to the streamer's apartment, where the delivery man came and rang the doorbell to get a signature from the streamer. The girl opened it with a surprised expression on her face and said that she was not expecting any delivery, and the courier said that it would be a little more important than a simple parcel. It turns out that this is the same hacker. He suddenly takes his phone out of his pocket, where he shows a recording of the girl's stream yesterday, and says that they should talk about this moment. The girl doesn't understand a little how he got this recording because she deletes them after the stream, and the hero said that he has his own hidden methods. The streamer asks in a nervous voice what he is going to do with this video, and the hero says that he is going to deal with it in the easiest way possible. The guy added that the blue-haired girl just needed to follow his instructions for the next few hours, and then he would delete the video. But the girl didn't believe it at all. The girl started making threats because he is the only one to blame for having this video, and she doesn't need to take it away. She can just call the cops. The guy laughs in her face and claims that she doesn't understand the seriousness of the situation, but the girl continues to drive him away, and the guy is confident that he is right. The white-haired man began to escalate the situation because the girl could not be saved in such an easy way, because this video somehow got to him, and he won't tell under any pretext unless the streamer agrees to his terms for deleting the video. She had an average of 800 viewers, but her income is much higher than that. She has a car and a nice apartment, a bank balance of $3,600, but $180,000 in debt. She probably took out so many loans to pay for the house, but she can't pay it off due to lack of income. He said everything correctly. The girl got worried because this video, according to the guy, will kill the streamer's career, and asks if this outcome of events is suitable for her. She begged as soon as possible so that he would not send this video anywhere. The guy liked it, and now he decided to discuss the conditions. He needed 1 day. The beauty tilted her head and asked what she needed to do. The girl was going to do whatever the hacker wanted. The guy said that now they should pretend that they were conducting a real interview and asked the girl to change into a streamer outfit. She doesn't understand what the hell he was up to and said not to think that he would be able to write something down because she had already unplugged the computer. The guy explains in his head that this format of conversation is needed to complete the task, and now it's time to conduct the interview. He asked the girl to introduce herself. It turned out that she was Yuna. She broadcasts on which she plays various games. Content is mainly based on recently released games. When there are no new games, she plays games like League of Legends. The next question arrived, quite personal, whether the girl thinks that her income as a game streamer will suit her completely or not. The girl replied that she was quite happy with everything. The guy interrupted her and asked why she was selling her characters things left and right. In this case, the girl was very alarmed by this. The guy mentioned that her video content contained some guy asked if she didn't sell him character items. But the girl said that this is not at all true, and that is not what she is doing. She is doing this to support the relationships she has established with her viewers. The next question was asked. He remembered that she called him Mr. President. Don't streamers call people who donate huge amounts of money that way? The guy turned out to be right, except that he is the moderator of her fan community site on Reddit. The hero escalates, as in court. That is, the girl exchanges expensive items from her character with him simply in order to maintain friendship. Then she would start selling her internal inventory for the sake of money, and so that a lot of fireballs would fly into her character in the League of Legends. This man helped her in difficult times, but recently he began to demand more and more from the girl. If you don't judge by his appearance, then he has a lot of money. There are rumors that he is the son of the university rector. She cannot ignore him since he is the reason why the streamer can be closer to the fans. The guy previously assumed that the reason why she does all this is that her connection with him is not related to money. He turns out to be the only source of income. The hero says that in this case it would not be better for the girl to switch to content for other groups of people instead of pretending to be a freak. Even if her whole family knows that she is a streamer, the girl will never stoop to play on the line in Dota with other people. But doesn't she stand on the line with such a noob like that same so-called Mr. President just for the sake of money? The girl was angry at such provocations, and she abruptly stood up from her chair, saying that she had had enough of all this and needed to end the interview. She assumed that this guy also just wanted to steal her character's things, and so she took off the entire set to give to him and offer to play the skating rink. It turned out that this was her emotional limit, to be honest. He is not sure now whether he met the conditions of the task, and since she invited him, he will do it too. The guy asked if this was the first time she had seen such a pumped-up character who could solo carry her in the lane. It turned out that this was some kind of bonus from the system of the god of hackers, and since they had come so far, he suggested that the girl try the puja hook with the rune of gold. Blueberry lay down on the bed and suggested finishing the tea ceremony as soon as possible, because the tea leaves were already losing their taste and all their moisture. But the white-haired man decided to try the tteokbokki from the restaurant first and fell face first into them to taste every drop of juice. The girl liked it because that fat Mr. President never worried about her feelings and her tastes in food, so she was surprised. The girl amazingly gave a last hit on creeps according to the guy, but first you need to roll it into the warm-up skating rink as usual, to warm up your hook throw. She saw how much money she would receive from the sale of in-game inventory, and opened her mouth in surprise that she received such a cool sunstrike from the invoker. The girl also noticed that the guy has wonderful gaming skills. He knows all the timings, all the procasts on the inviter, and can play it like a piano. It turns out that the application gives the guy some special abilities that he can use with other people to increase his effectiveness. That's it. Blue-haired was completely under the power of the buffs that the application imposes and decided to give the role of carry to white-haired. Ultimately, we can say that Niagara Falls completely dried up and the plane flew into the bay with all its force. Since the guy has done his job, now he can leave. Besides, the blackmailer will slowly leave, and he deleted all the videos and left no copies. It was her right to believe him or not and was about to leave, putting on a delivery man's cap. But the girl decided to stop him and asked if he would come again, to blackmail her a little, and the guy replied that she would never see him again and shouldn't worry about it. Then the girl got out of bed and offered to play a game of ice cream. The guy agreed, because he was in no hurry, took off his cap and returned to the house. By this time, the task should have already been completed, and a notification arrived that the guy had received $1,500 into his bank account, a 700 bonus for the interview. The last game was played and the guy decided to warn the girl that he was leaking from the lobby, but the girl was unable to answer. The streamer was completely exhausted, which was not surprising because the game lasted for a couple of hours. The hero told her to rest a little and slammed the door and walked off into the sunset. The case moved to the hacker's apartment. He realized that as a reward, in addition to money, he received a new function in the application that would help in his work. This buff turned out to be camera control. He comments that he would like to get such a skill earlier. He can control the rotation of cameras in future hacking. Now he shouldn't have any problems choosing an angle for filming, and then a new task came to his phone. But its conditions shocked the guy. In the conditions, it was necessary to do sports in the streamer's dressing room. An additional reward was the removal of all restrictions. In addition, it was necessary to take a photo after the concert. After so much experience in using the application, he set 2 rules. The first is to delete all editing materials without regret, and the second is to never meet them. Although some really liked cooking with the guy, so some wanted to remain cooking friends, but he does everything in his power only at that moment. He's not some kind of psychopath or crazy bastard, so he tried to make his teammates feel good too. And now he has this opportunity. After that, he never met streamers again. It helps him fall asleep at night because it happened. It happened. But the streamer was already in the new task. Lee Sunhwa beautiful but prickly rose. In those days he was not yet experienced, so he used bad material about her and her advertising agent and could barely stop him from calling the police. The hero barely managed to take her to the nearest computer club to start playing Dota, but it was so bad and clumsy that he himself didn't like it. And he also remembers this look completely filled with hatred. She endured all this torment. After such a terrible task, he wanted to do the extra thing and get the phone. But she bit him very hard, so much so that the guy shouted at all the internet cafes that she was completely crazy. He was still in pain at the sight of the bite. The guy doesn't understand what to do with this task. He just wants to skip it. But there is no such option in the application's functionality. He just has to try. If he can't miss the task, then the hacker needs to use all his strength to complete it. He came to her house, rang the doorbell, and asked how she was doing. She asked again and began to threaten that she would strangle him, put concrete boots on him, and feed him to the fish, and the guy retorted that he was not here to drown. The guy offered to just talk, but the streamer said that she would only open if the guy himself went to the skyscraper and jumped into the crater. The hacker asked if it was her birthday today, he could bring a delicious cake and a gift with it, and the girl said that she would only accept a cut wire from the mouse as a gift. She said that she really wanted to look at him and offered to cut him off and show him to the camera, but the guy, of course, did not want to do this and begged him to just have a quick conversation. The hacker added that he would immediately leave after a quick conversation. The intercom answered that he should wait a little, and the guy, inspired by her words, waited for the streamer to open the door. The girl opened the door and offered to cut off the small wire from the mouse herself. The guy got scared, said to put away the knife and just go inside to talk calmly. The guy was about to come in, but the beauty stuck her leg out and said that she wouldn't let in someone who likes to spy on other people's gameplay. White-haired said that he just wanted to apologize for his bad behavior in the chat. Then, the girl did not believe him because too much time had passed. She invited him to walk like a dog around the city, but the hacker said that it wouldn't work and suggested doing something else. For a long time, she offered different ways of apologizing. The hero fell to his knees and said that he was really sorry for what he did at that time, even though it was a lie. But he continued that he would regret it all his life, but just let him give it a chance. The girl didn't believe it and laughed, because if he really regretted it earlier, she immediately realized that he was planning something else, and the guy realized that she was not stupid at all. He understood that this method would not work, and began to shout that he could not forget that wonderful gaming evening, how they won games together and screamed with pleasure. The hacker asked for another chance, because at that time he was not at all experienced, but she would really feel good this time from the improved gaming skills and new cosmetics for the character. The guy continued that he should take good care of the girl, asking for just one chance, remembering some manga where it was said that if you ask well, you will be allowed. But this made the yellow-haired girl more and more angry. She really should have cut off the guy's game cursor and went at him. He shouted throughout the entire corridor for her to stop. The hacker left without results. He almost became a eunuch, and thought whether this task would be doable at all, although it looks quite doable, but this time with her temperament, that even the audience calls her queen. She never asks for what the main character did to her. But then he received a notification from the system that offered him a function, which a white-haired jock could buy for $10,000. She was legendary and would definitely help him with his mission. The guy realized that this was all set up specifically to sell as many functions as possible, and he decided to think for a couple of minutes about the purchase because it was too expensive. Someone like the god of hackers doesn't need to shake money from someone like the main character. He beat many streamers and earned decent money during this time. Therefore, he accepted the offer and bought a new feature. He did not like the description of the buff that was purchased. He didn't believe that this thing would actually help him complete the task, but it sounded damn terrible. This thing would give a buff to his professional skills and his enjoyment of the game. This skill now allowed him to hack people and their brains. This skill had to be upgraded by gradually increasing his skills. But for now, he is at the first level and can do little with it. He decided that he needed to meet with the streamer as soon as possible and complete the task because he had invested a lot of money in it. The matter was transferred to a local cafe. Yellow-haired beauty sits in a cafe and looks at the phone without touching anyone, peacefully sipping her cappuccino with alternative milk. And the main character came here. The girl was very surprised by this and asked if he worked part-time as a local stalker, and the guy said that he was just passing by and it was an accident. But I thought to myself that it was quite easy to track her, because he has a hacking application. The girl does not believe in all this nonsense and suggests calling the police. The guy got worried and said that there was no need for this, and the girl should just listen to him, relax, and not make a scene right in the city center. She said to get straight to the point and say what the hacker needs from her, but he continues his card about how he just wants to replay the battle in Mortal Kombat and give a thrill. The girl screamed that he was an idiot because his request made no sense, but the guy offered to make a bet, which left the girl in a stupor. He recalled that last time they didn't have a very good time, and the girl replied that he was an idiot if he thought that the girl would be happy and upset just because of the joystick from the 5th curling iron. Then he continued about the bet, and said that since then his skills have grown greatly. He learned new combos and techniques to defeat the girl without a chance. But Goldilocks noticed that the guy went completely crazy from watching strange films, and his skills just couldn't grow, because this is not a video game. The guy screamed and said that he was ready to bet $5,000 that he could achieve a clean victory over her with the help of one hand of the right grandfather. And the girl won't have to pay if he wins. This is an excellent offer. However, the condition is that you won't lose anything, the hacker thought to himself. She had to agree to this, but the beauty just laughed in her eyes and said that she was not so poor as to agree to such a sum. The guy was very surprised and put into a stupor. The girl continued to verbally attack and say that she would not fall in love with such a cretin as this white-haired guy. and that she will not agree to such a terrible bet just for the sake of money and a couple of rounds of mortal combat. But the hero says in a plaintive voice that this is not so. He completely forgot that a popular streamer like her makes enough money, and this was his only way to redeem himself. He complains about the god of hackers. After all, at such a moment, he could simply give a hypnosis application, but then the girl suddenly asked how much money he had in his account, which shocked the guy. The streamer asks how much money he has, including even hundreds. She needs to know everything. He told about $2,000, which the girl didn't like. She agreed, asked to make a deposit of $500. If he loses, he will give the remaining $1,000. Under such conditions, she agrees. The guy was very surprised by such conditions that he had to pay up front, but the girl retorted that he was practically a former prisoner, and he should listen to her. He must pay for what he did to her then, the guy screamed, because she said that she was not interested in money at all. But she decided that it would be funny if such a terrible blackmailer like him gave her the last of his money. This is a mortal battle that rests on the hero's last savings. If he completes the task, he will still be at a disadvantage when completing the task. He yells to himself that he would never take it on, and the girl has already decided to leave. Besides, this is the last time she sees him, because she will report him to the police for stalking if she sees him near her again. The guy agreed and decided to bet all his money on it, which surprised the girl very much. He brought her everything in cash because she didn't want to open the door until she saw the money in the account. The streamer was too surprised by such determination from the guy and did not want to make a bet to herself. The girl was very surprised by this because he started taking out his PlayStation 5 right in the middle of the apartment and connecting it to the TV. The guy gave a couple of compliments to the girl's excellent game because she showed 2 incredibly large and beautiful combos on Katana. And then a big fight broke out on the line. No one wanted to give up superiority and creeps, but the guy used his ult on his puja. The girl said that she had to stop him because she couldn't lose to such a loser, but then suddenly casted Procast Shower, what she died from. Scorpio and Subfight Zero lasted for a very long time, but at a crucial moment the hero cast a special combo and made a fatality on the enemy. She decided to run away from the battlefield, but the enemy crept up unnoticed and used a secret technique that no one had seen since the Hei era Yang. And at the end of the fight, the Sub-Zero released all his cold energy on the enemy, which resulted in facial frostbite.